a Q&A with three amazing individuals. Three men who have helped change the world. Three men who've done incredible things in business. On the panel, I'm going to be speaking to Dr. Yusuf Hamid, who Kalpesh told you a little bit about before, chairman of the Indian pharmaceutical giant Cipla, Mr. G.P. Hinduja, co-chairman of the Hinduja Group, and Mr. Sudhir Chowdhury of the CNC Alpha Group. Ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way to the stage, it's like the world's richest boy band making their way to the stage. Dr. Hamid, if you would like to sit here, please, sir. Thanks. The Hinduja, welcome. Would you like to come and sit here? Mr. Chowdhury, welcome. Come, sit.
This has to be turned on.
I think it's good. Yeah. We'll get a sound check. If you want to do any rapping or beatboxing or anything, we can get a sound check. No? Right, okay, we'll get straight into it.
I think we'll perform better in boxing.
Yeah. Good point, well made. Mr. Hinduja, good point, well made. Let me introduce the panel to you in a little bit more detail. To my left here immediately, Dr. Hamid is a Cambridge-trained scientist, and it was his father, at the behest of none other than Mahatma Gandhiji, who created Cipla as an Indian drug company that would provide medicines to all Indians at an affordable price. Dr. Hamid has very much carried on in that tradition and has taken on some of the large, scary Western pharmaceutical companies for their pricing, research and development policies. Mr. G.P. Hinduja, next to him, is co-chairman of the Hinduja Group, one of the world's biggest and most diversified family-owned private businesses. The group has interests in 10 business sectors, which include banking, oil, automotive manufacturing, energy, IT, outsourcing, and they also, of course, own some pretty iconic brands such as Gulf Oil and Ashok Leyland. The group employs over 70,000 people in 35 countries, ladies and gentlemen. Next to him, Mr. Sudhir Chowdhury is a pioneering entrepreneur with interests in hospitality, healthcare, aviation, and real estate. His CNC Alpha Group has operations in India, the US, the UK, where they've recently opened hospitals and care homes. He's also served as a director for Adidas in India and the Taj Hotels Group. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel. Yes, come on. Yes, come on. These are three inspirational men. And in the case of Mr. Chowdhury, probably the most amazing Hollywood hairstyle I've seen. It's dashing, sir. Dashing. I'm jealous of that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Sorry, gentlemen, you have fine hairstyles as well. I don't want to make you feel jealous of Mr. Chowdhury there. Mr. Hamid, Dr. Hamid, I'd like to start with you. In 2001, US drug companies were charging $15,000 per person per year for antiretroviral drugs. You came to spoil their party, didn't you? By charging, and this is worth a huge round of applause, for the poorest people in the world suffering from HIV, this man sitting next to me developed a drug and charged $1 a day for that drug. I suppose it's obvious, considering what Mahatma Gandhiji said to your father, why you did it. But what was it about the millions of deaths that you were seeing? What was it that, the energy inside you that said, I just cannot sit by it and let this happen?
At that time, there were at least 20 to 30 million people suffering from HIV/AIDS. And particularly in Africa, in 2001, not more than 2,000 to 4,000 people could afford the treatment of $12,000 to $15,000 a year. It went to show when we started manufacturing these drugs in India, legally, because there were no patents in India, and we could do it legally in India as well as in Africa. It went to show the power of monopoly, that if you have a monopoly in healthcare, you can dictate your terms and charge what you like. And I've always said that we never sold these drugs at a loss. We sold it at cost. So that was the price of 350. But what gives me today a great deal of satisfaction is that what we started in 2001, when only 2,000 people could afford the treatment and have a better quality of life, today more than 8.5 million, particularly in Africa, are being treated. I'll give you another very interesting statistic. Out of all the drugs for AIDS made in the world, in volume, India produces 92%.
Wow. Amazing.
That is sold internationally for about $1 billion.
You decided to take on, and I'm going to ask the two gentlemen next to you as well in a moment about taking on bullies, but you took on bullies, essentially, because Pfizer and other companies such as them, and I hope none of their lawyers are here, because I'll be sued back to the Stone Age if they are, but you took them on, and they tried quite a few dirty tricks against the drugs you were making. How do you deal with bullies?
I don't deal with them. I don't break the laws. I live by the laws of the land. In India, I abide by Indian laws. In England, I abide by British laws.
Well, that's good to hear, because we've got the Home Secretary
here,
so yeah.
That's why I said it. And in Africa, by African laws.
Yeah.
So we don't break laws. So if a thing costs, I'll give you a very nice example.
But they weren't breaking laws, were they?
Who?
The American pharma companies.
No.
They weren't either, were they?
They have patents and the power of monopoly in their countries. And if you patent something, you get a 20-year monopoly. In India, we didn't have patent laws at the time. So we were legally allowed to manufacture the drugs.
And you did, and you saved
And
millions of lives.
we saved millions of lives. So this is, the whole story goes back, that 8% that is produced by the Western countries has a market value today, at what they're selling, of nearly $20 billion, as against the 92 made in India for $1 billion.
Wow.
And I'll give you the one last example, that the world's largest selling anti-AIDS drug is sold in America for $24,000 per patient per year. And we are giving it to Africa at $96 per patient per year.
That's amazing.
And that's the big difference.
Amazing.
And not losing money.
Yeah, and not losing money. That's the important thing. Mr. Hinduja, in order to grow a company to the size that you've grown a company, there must have been times early on in your career when there were people who would try and intimidate you in legal ways. How do you deal with that when someone is? Because there are lots of companies here that are small companies, they want to expand. They will come up against people who are big boys in that game, or big girls, in fact, in that game. How do you deal with that?
See, in my case, at the age of 17.
17,
Yes.
20 years ago, yes.
You are right.
Yes.
I was pushed into the business, and my first stop overseas was in Tehran,
In Tehran.
where my late father was the first Indian to go, and he had very strong values. And these 5 values are the guiding principles of our group. Word is a bond, advance fearlessly, growth with partnership, work to give.
Work to give.
Yes. we strongly believed to follow his guiding principles, and the best lesson and blessing he left for the family was that nothing belongs to us. Everything what we have is to give away. We can keep with us for our living, and fortunately, all the four brothers are totally detached with the word wealth.
Really?
No one in the family is attached to wealth. We always like to work 24/7, but from an angle of seeing how we can contribute to the society. Now, with that strong principle, I never found in my life anyone trying to intimidate or harming me. In my lifetime, at least I can't remember, I have deceived, cheated, or done anything wrong to anyone intentionally.
Oh, well, that's an important word,
Yes,
intentionally,
yes.
in that sentence, but yes.
Maybe I may have done with good intention, and the other side may have felt offended.
Yeah.
But if at all I come to know that, I would be the first person to bring up and apologize.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, this humility, humbleness, is not only in me, but in all the brothers and the family. The third generation, the fourth generation, and this is the blessings of our parents.
Right.
Nowadays, it's too difficult to run joint businesses with the family because you can never have common views. No sooner the word W comes in, each one wants to have their own slice. But fortunately, in our family, this has not been there. So to answer to your question, neither me nor my brothers or family members have experienced this. So if you have any other question, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Mr. Chaudhry, how do you run such a large business? And I suppose you start something off, it's very much your baby, you watch it grow, but then there comes a point when you have to delegate. How good are you at delegating?
It was in 1994 that we got McKinsey to come into our business and review our businesses. At that time, they said that it is better that you are entrepreneurs and you do bring in professional management. So most of our businesses are all professionally managed. The businesses which we incubate at the central office are started small, with a small idea. We have 4 principles. You must have a dream, you must have an idea, you must plan, you must implement, and then only you can harvest. And that is how we go about in each of our businesses.
In any large business, as Rupert Murdoch found out, when things start to unravel, they can unravel pretty quickly. What is the art of crisis management? Dr. Hamid, and I'll ask all 3 of you this question. What is the art of crisis management?
When you are doing a business, there's never a complete upside. You will always go through cycles.
Right.
There'll be a cycle which you're going upwards and a cycle when you're going downwards. When you're going up, you never think that you're always going up because you are going to face a downward trend. A day is followed by night and night is followed by day. And that is what happens in every business also.
So you have to be very philosophical about it.
Absolutely, you have to be very concentrated. You must know what you're doing. You must be able to cut your costs. You must be able to implement your issues and your problems and your site your dream, your foresight has to be always in focus.
Mr. Hinduja, and then I will come to you, sir, Dr. Yeah,
Sir,
Mr. Hinduja.
what type of crisis are you looking for?
Well,
Is
you
it
know, lose your
political-
keys, lose your
No,
phone, I mean, those
no,
kind of...
political crisis, economic crisis,
Yeah, well, okay.
family crisis, what type of crisis?
Well,
so that I can
let's-
respond to you accordingly.
Well, let's look at a perfect storm of all three of those happening at once. What would you do then? Well, let's look at a family crisis, because I think it's quite interesting, because I think all the Asians in this room would understand that one thing that family businesses want to avoid is what I call Ambani-geddon. It's like Armageddon, but it involved the Ambani family. It's when two brothers fall out so spectacularly. I mean, you know, how do you deal with that when you're dealing with family members? And perhaps family members aren't doing quite well. I mean, I can imagine, put your hands up in this room if you are involved in a family business.
Every hand will go up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. No, be honest, come on. I know there's more than 3. This is the Asian Business Awards. Not that we don't like each other Business Awards. There's a lot of people in this room.
You
So how
see,
do you deal with that?
As I mentioned to you in our case, all the members are detached
Right.
to the family,
Right.
to the wealth. And each one, God has given wisdom, which helps quite a lot. There is a lot of sacrifice the elders have to do. We have to understand that the youngsters, they also want their freedom. Now, if the elders want that the youngsters should just follow what we have been doing, it's wrong.
Really?
We should give them full freedom. But in Asian families, you know, there is always an angle of keeping in control with them. No sooner you keep that control, the disruption starts. But if you give a free hand and you treat your sons, nephews, cousins like friends, they will not run away from you. They will come to the elders for seeking the wisdom, the experience. I have not gone in any university, but I can claim I have PhD of the University of UOL. You would say, what is UOL?
What is URL?
It is the University of Life, the experience what I have.
The University of Life. I would say you're a professor. I think you're way beyond Professor Emeritus.
And this has helped us quite a lot. And in every crisis, you have to have patience. Don't become panicky. Because whatever has come has to go away. Even if the storm comes, after storm there is lull. So have patience, let the crisis come, and there is someone over and above us to look after us. And be happy and contented with what is happening. Keep your intentions good.
Wow, that's good advice. Dr. Hamid, there you are. Round of applause. Dr. Hamid, Mr. Hinduja mentioned, I think, faith. How important is faith in running a business?
Well, I'm in the healthcare business. And the healthcare business where you are treating human beings, you're saving lives, I think it cannot be regarded totally as a business. It is business, plus you have to have a humanitarian approach to your business. If you don't have that, you can't be in healthcare.
But what about religion, Dr. Hamid, about faith in that respect? How important is faith in business? Because we have a room full of people lots of people who believe very much, whether it be Hinduism or Islam.
I don't think in a secular country like
Sikhism,
India.
sorry, to the Sikhs.
Yeah,
as well.
religion hasn't played a very important part in my life. I have a Jewish mother and a Muslim father. What that makes me, I don't know.
I would say that makes you the head of the UN.
Yeah.
I would say. And we need to get you into the Middle East as quickly as possible, I think is what that means.
But you see, in the pharmaceutical, in the healthcare business, there is a high degree of obsolescence in drugs. Newer drugs come in, they replace the older ones, and that is a crisis of life, in fact. So it's not a stagnant industry, it's always evolving. Like in 2001, you mentioned the AIDS drugs. At that time, there were only 3 or 4 drugs available for HIV/AIDS. Today, there's 20. You can choose from 20 drugs against HIV/AIDS. So it evolves. And that is probably the crisis that we face in the industry. So how fast can we bring in newer drugs, better treatment, improved quality of life, and save lives?
Mr. Chowdhury, who's been the most inspirational person that you've met in your journey?
In my journey, the most inspirational person was my mentor, who was my uncle. And he was self-made, and he meant with values that you should play honest, be straightforward in your business dealings. If you made a commitment, honor that commitment, and make sure you deliver those promises what you have promised to do.
Mr. Hinduja? Now, you were 17 years old, told to go into business. I'm sure you wanted to be a Bollywood star or a cricketer rather than going into the family business.
But I should tell you,
Yes.
the Hinduja family were the pioneers in the Bollywood.
Ah.
We were the first one to take all the Bollywood movies overseas and distribute them. In UK especially, they used to show one show on Saturday, one show on Sunday. And we took a courageous...
It was just Sholay, wasn't it? That's all
No,
they showed.
no,
It was
no,
like-
no, no. All,
Like 30 years.
all movies. In 1963,
Yeah.
I came to London and I took a decision that I want to show the movie with 3 shows a day. And the exhibitor in Scala Theatre in
King's
Tottenham,
Cross?
Tottenham Court
Oh, Tottenham Court Road.
told me, Mr. Hinduja, you will lose all your money and you will have to pay a penalty to the cinema house. I said, I don't mind, but I have faith and trust I'm going to make money. And the first movie which came in UK, which went for all 7 days, which was extended for 4 weeks, was a film called Sangam.
Sangam, Raj Kapoor.
And you will be surprised, since that movie, the Bollywood movies have been running here successfully. And that was not only the one movie, I had 1,400 titles. But one good day, I took a decision that this is a business which is taking away a lot of my time, personal attention.
Well, they're 4 hours long, most of the films, Mr.
That,
I mean,
no, but that was one of the things. Because I'll tell you, these 4 hours movies, I used to edit it myself.
did you?
make it 2.5 hours. And then I used to find
Cut the songs.
Cut the songs?
appropriate English titles. And in many a times I used to get them dubbed also. But I thought I had better businesses. And I called my friend and I told him, are you willing to take away all these movies? He said, I had no money. I said, you pay me in installments, but I want to get rid of this business. So I have been running everything in trust and faith. And trust and faith has paid me long way. So to answer your question, that who has been my inspirer is trust, faith. I have a lot of confidence that there is someone up there likes me, and I have never had a word called impossible. Because the word next to impossible is possible. There has to be a firm determination that you have to do it. And someone helps. It happens. So it's only faith and trust.
So, I'll tell you a very interesting story.
Mr. Hamid.
Yeah. In my case, I'll tell you a very interesting story. It was in the year 1939, 4th of July, when Mahatma Gandhi came and visited my factory. And my father asked him, "Sir, why have you come here?" He said, "The British have been to see me, and the British have said that if India assists in the war effort, they would give India independence."
Wow.
So my father then said, "Why have you come to me, sir?" He said, "Because medicines from Europe have stopped coming into India. And I want you to produce medicines for the army and for the war effort," and which we did. And it was Mahatma Gandhi at that time that put into us sowed the seed of self-sufficiency and self-reliance. And that has helped us over the years, that I sincerely believe that nobody's going to help you, you have to help yourself. And that the destiny of the country is in the hands of the country itself. Like the destiny of Britain is in the hands of the British.
Yeah.
And the destiny of India is in the hands
And the
of
Polish.
And the Polish.
Yes. Now,
So that's the...
very lastly, because I'm getting right, but
Yeah.
we're enjoying this conversation, aren't we? But we've got to hurry it up. So just very, very quickly, to each one of you gentlemen, starting with Mr. Chowdhury, how do you relax? You run massive businesses, very busy all the time, lots of demands on your time. How do you relax?
By working. For me, working and being in office is relaxing.
Wow, okay. Mr. Hinduja, how do you relax, sir?
I will endorse the same thing, because even if I go on holidays, if I am idle for 1 hour, I start feeling depressed. But if you ask my hobbies,
Yes.
I'm an early morning walker.
Yes, you love to trek.
But before that, I visit the temple every morning, whether it is snowing, it's raining, or anything. Similarly with my walk, and music is my passion.
Dizzy Rascal? Tiny Turtle?
Anything,
Good, right, good. I'm glad to...
anything. But
Yeah.
before you put me off, I want to leave a message for the Home Secretary.
Yes? No swearing. Right.
In my opinion, firstly, she has the most toughest job from all the ministries: law, order, police, immigration. These are quite difficult and important sectors. But a lot can be done between India and UK relationship. And the performance of that really falls under home. And I think if more preference is given to the Indian talent, the trade and investment between these two countries can grow. The Prime Minister visited India recently. He has left a good message, a good signal has been given. Now it is the time to work on it and nurture it and take the benefits of it.
Absolutely. And Sri Lankan talent, Pakistani talent, and Bangladeshi talent
Why
as well.
not? Why
Absolutely.
not?
Well, I
Asian
speak for Sri Lankan talent.
We
Asian
call it
talent.
Asian
That's right.
talent.
That's right.
It is Asian Business Award.
That's right.
Yeah.
And lastly, Dr. Hamid, how do you relax?
I don't.
Oh,
I think life is relaxation for me. I enjoy everything that I do, whether it is work or play or tennis or cricket. I enjoy everything in life. So I take life as it comes and enjoy whatever I'm doing 24 hours a day.
ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hamid, Mr. G.P. Hinduja, Mr. Sudhir Chowdhury. Round of applause. Can we get to our feet, I think, ladies and gentlemen, for these three amazing gentlemen?
Don't you think we should thank Solanki brothers?
We should. I'm going to do that. We do that, Mr. Chowdhury. Thank you. Yeah, we should. We should. We absolutely should. Mr. Hinduja wants to say something very, very important,
On
actually.
behalf of all of us.
On behalf, exactly, on behalf of all of
Please.
us.
I have known Ramnik Lal Solanki now at least for last 40 years. And every year I find he is moving towards success, but that is his hard work and spiritual thoughts what he has. But he has two successful and hard worker sons,
Yes, he
which
does.
are taking his legacy ahead. And this year, when I see the audience, I find much, much bigger than every year. And I can only wish best and good luck to them to
Hear, hear.
keep on
And more
continuing.
success.
Yeah, more success for the Solanki family. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel.